Since last 2 days you have been in the peaceful campus of Shantivan. I think at present you are all stress-free. Is it true? But when you go back, problems may come, so that's why this session is kept for you. Everyone in present age experiences stress in day-to-day life, whether men, women or children. 18th century was said as the age of knowledge. 19th century was the age of inventions. 20th century was called as the age of stress and strain by the medical scientists. And now we are in 21st century, and they say if our lifestyle will remain the same, this 21st century would be the century of age of panic and depression. But if we bring change in our lifestyle, then it can be the age of peace and happiness. The choice is ours in which age we want to live. But why the stress and strain has increased in 20th century? The reason was fast changes in all aspects of society. And that fast changes led to competition and struggle. And that's why most of the studies has been done in 20th century about the stress, effects of stress on our physical and mental health. Scientist Hensley, he did pioneer study in this field, and he defined stress is equal to pressures upon coping ability. So he defined stress as stress is equal to pressures upon coping ability. Means when pressures are more and coping ability is less, we experience stress. In other words, when demands exceeds resources, again we experience stress. And stress is a kind of pain that comes to tell me there is something I need to change in my life. And this pain is messenger that tells me there is something I need to learn. Something new I need to learn. And it has, because it releases certain chemicals in our body. These chemicals are catecholamines and steroids. They act as slow poison. They circulate in the system and in long run can cause many psychosomatic diseases. A study has been done in Yale University, America on the students. They were divided in two groups. In first group, they took those who get angry easily, who could not keep patience, who were not able to stabilize their mind. And in second group, the students were of opposite nature. They were very peaceful, patient, and they were able to concentrate their mind. Their health checkup was done, and then follow-up continued. And at the age of 50 years, they were again called for health checkup. It was found that in first group, in comparison to second group, 7 times more deaths happened. So if in second group there were 5 deaths, how much would be in first group? Can you say? If in second group 5 people were died, then how many were died in first group? Yes? Did you understand the example? Yes? 7 times more. 35 died. So what does it mean? It means that if we remain or if we have stressful life, then there are 7 times more chances of death at the age of 50 years than a normal person. So the psychosomatic problems which it causes, actually, There is some problem in the slideshow, so I'll check for 1 minute and then. ये नहीं, बैकअप पेन ड्राइव खोलो, बैकअप, हाँ इसमें स्ट्रेस एंड एंगर वाला है ना, STR एंड एंगर, हाँ लाइट शो ले लो, ये वाली लाइट बंद कर दो। क्लिक करना, लाइट शो पे क्लिक करना। इसमें क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? चेंज हो गया। मैं नहीं देख सकती हूँ क्या? बैकअप नहीं देख सकती हूँ, स्क्रीन पर नहीं, स्क्रीन पर तो आएगा, फुल स्क्रीन में आ रहा है, डेस्कटॉप चेंज हो जाता है। तो यही ले जाओ ना, वहीं पर देख कर क्या बोल छोड़ो उसको। हाँ पर ये आ तो रहा है, नहीं पता नहीं, यहाँ कुछ नहीं आ रहा है। मैं नहीं देखूँ, मैं तो स्क्रीन पर देख लूँगी, स्क्रीन पर आ जाएगा तो स्क्रीन पर ही नहीं आ रहा है, इधर नहीं आ रहा है। ये बैकअप पेन ड्राइव वाला खोलो, मेरे को दे दो। यहाँ नहीं आ रहा है, यहाँ आ रहा है, यहाँ आ रहा है, यहाँ नहीं आ रहा है। चेंज मैं तो मुझे छोड़ दो, आप वहीं रखो और घुमाते जाओ। आप देवे ना मुझे, देता तो नहीं, दे भी तो नहीं रहा है। आप एक दे दो, इसको आप करके ना सुनाने तो नहीं आता है। क्या फायदा है? सेटिंग चेंज करके रखा हुआ। Sorry, because of some problem you won't be able to see slideshow. So I continue the topic. The pressure comes from all the sides to us. Maybe some past events, circumstances, they come into our memory again and again and create pressure. In present also we face many problems and few have worries about future. They have fears and uncertainties. What will happen? Will it happen or not? So this kind of thinking leads to stress. And because it leads to many psychosomatic diseases, so first effect comes on our heart. It releases adrenaline, and this adrenaline increases our heart rate. Normal heart rate is 60 to 100 per minute. But when we are under stress, it increases up to 120, 140 per minute, and that causes pressure on the heart, leads to high blood pressure. The arteries of the heart, they go into spasm sometimes because of more adrenaline, and if one has blockages already, then it can cause angina and heart attack also. The pumping capacity of heart also decreases 3 times more. Second effect comes on our nervous system. It affects our brain. The arteries of the brain, they constrict. There is less oxygen supply to the brain cells, and this decreases the capacity of our brain in the form of decreased concentration power, decreased memory power, decrease in concentration power, and if it continues for a long time, then there can be psychotic and neurotic diseases. A person may feel stammering, dryness of mouth, insomnia, headache, body aches because of effect on nervous system. And the diabetes, arthritis is also related to stress. It affects our immune system. There is decrease in resistance power to infections. So a person easily gets infections when one is under stress. People sometimes use alcohol, smoking and tobacco chewing to relieve their stress, but they have bad effects on our health and can lead to further more problems. You all experience stress in your life. I think no one in this gathering can say, I do not experience stress in my life. Is anyone can say that I do not experience stress? And if someone can raise your hand. So all experience stress. Huh? There's only one person is raising hand. They don't experience two or three. They don't experience stress. So you all experience stress. So problems comes, and which situations in your life make you experience stress? You will first share with me. They may be family problems, maybe your workplace problems, maybe your personality problems, whatever it is, share, and the person sitting in front will share more because I would be able to listen to them. Those who are sitting in the back, it's difficult to listen to them. So, problems of family life and your workplace life. Family, workplace. Yes? Speak in English. I can understand only English. Or Hindi. If you can speak Hindi, answer in Hindi or English. Yes, which problems? Family is okay, it causes stress, but which problems in family causes stress to you? So children's behavior is the problem for parents, huh? Yes? Anyone else? Lack of communication. Lack of communication, children. Yes? Workplace problems. Which problems? Too many policies, meetings, deadlines, work overload. Okay. Yes? Fear of future, especially to students and children. They have career problems, so they are always worried about their future. Yes? From brother's side? Young daughters. Transfer problem. Transfers, frequent transfers. So we can make a long list of these causes. Holmes and Rahe, they were American scientists, and they study on the events of our life, and especially common events which all of us face. And they said the event which bring change in our life can cause stress, Even a happy occasion, if it is bringing change in our life, can cause stress to us. So in family life, they consider death in the family or death of the spouse is the most stressful cause, and they gave it marks 100, and the other causes in which the stress is half is given marks 50, and in last 3 months, if we have marks more than 300, then we need help, because it can affect our physical and mental health. So death in the family, especially of any near and dear's death, and divorce and separation, if husband and wife have ego problems, ego clashes, they cannot stay together, they start living separately, and if it goes up to divorce, the family who face this situation is really experience stress. Then marriage actually is a happy occasion, but in this happy occasion, people experience stress. The reason is, I want to give you an example. There was once a businessman and he bought a lottery ticket of 10 lakh rupees. In his time, 10 lakh was a big amount. Unfortunately, he won that lottery. But this news is received by his wife. Wife thought, my husband is heart patient. I should not tell him directly. I must ask from my doctor how to tell him. So she contacted her doctor. Doctor said, send him to me. I know how to deliver this news to him. So when he reached to his doctor, doctor first asked him about his health, shared some news from here and there, and then asked him, if you win 1 lakh rupees lottery, then what will you do? He said, doctor, I want to buy furniture. I don't have furniture in my house, so I will spend that money in buying the furniture. Then doctor asked, okay, if you win the lottery of 5 lakh rupees, what you will do? He said, okay, if I get 5 lakh rupees, then I will buy a car. I need a car for me. So then doctor asked, okay, if you won lottery of 10 lakh rupees, then what you will do? Then he said to doctor, doctor, why are you joking? I am not such a fortunate soul to win such a big lottery. So he said, no, I am not joking. It's true. You have won lottery of 10 lakh rupees. What you will do? So he said, doctor, if it is true, then I will give the half the amount to you. So this doctor got the heart attack. So this is what happened when people... So here also those who get married and the parents who have to make arrangements for marriage, they face many problems. They face behavior problem from their in-laws, they may face dowry problem. There's so many arrangements behind it that cause stress to them. Then money problem is also a big problem of present age, because money is becoming power. The science has given lot of comforts and facilities to us, and everyone wants to have those facilities, and for that they want to earn much or more money in short period of time. And that's why this is called the age of jet race, and everyone is running behind the money. Previously it was said, if wealth is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, means everything is lost. But nowadays, the saying is, if wealth is lost, everything is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, nothing is lost. So if people want to earn money, or to earn money, they don't care about their character even. This much is craze for money nowadays. So okay, money is necessity for our life, but it is not everything in our life. You can buy medicines from money, but you cannot buy health. You can buy bed from your money, but you cannot buy sleep from money. You can buy books from money, but you cannot buy knowledge through money. So it has its own limitations, and whenever it comes to relations and our personal life, then we should not give it importance over our relations and personal life. And children also, someone of you shared about children. If children are not obedient and if they are going in wrong company, they spend their all of time in front of television, they do not study. It's really tension for patients because they have lot of expectations from their children. And if children do not fulfill those expectations, then parents get stressed. Sometimes children are not so much capable how much the parents expect from them. Now one student, he committed suicide and he wrote in his suicide note that my parents want me to become a doctor, but I know how much I make effort, I cannot, because in this result of exam, I'm failed in this exam, so it's not possible for me. But I do not want to discourage them, that's why I'm taking this step. So sometimes too much expectations, not seeing their ability, how much they can perform, can make the children taking wrong steps in their life. And few problems comes at workplace also. You spend almost more than 8 hours at workplace. So at workplace, when you are working hard, but your officer or your in charge, if he is of very rude nature and he scolds you on your small mistakes, you are being fired all the time for small things, then really one experiences stress. And there is feelings of competitions between colleagues. If competition is too much, up to a limit it helps in progress, but if it goes beyond limit, then it causes then it leads to stress. And if your colleagues are non-cooperative, you have conflicts with your colleague, your thoughts do not match, then also there is stress. If in place of promotion you get demotion, you expect you will be promoted, but because of your past records, in place of promotion there is demotion, then it is said loss of status is more stressful than loss of money and comforts. And sometimes if working conditions are not good where you work, if there is lot of noise, lot of pollution, traffic problems, they subtly affect our mind and cause stress to us. And there are certain illusions about stress. People feel you have to go to a doctor to diagnose and treat stress. A doctor can tell whether I am under stress or not. So is it true? A doctor can only tell I am under stress. After a doctor's checkup, you come to know that you are under stress. Otherwise, you don't know whether you have stress or not. Is it true? What do you say? Yes? We personally can identify our stress because we get such signs and symptoms in our body that we come to know I am under stress. And as soon as you come to know you are under stress, you must take some steps to remove it because it releases so much harmful chemicals that they immediately affect our physical and mental health. If someone says to you there is a time bomb lying in your house, what will we do? We immediately take steps to remove that time bomb because we know if it explodes, then it can destroy our house. So in the same way, as soon as you come to know you are under stress, immediately you take steps to remove or decrease your steps so that it doesn't affect your health. And second illusion is that people think this is the normal part of our modern day living. We have accepted in our life, but stress is not normal. When we are under stress, we experience pressure, we experience fear, we experience worry, we experience a kind of insecurity within us, which is not the normal state of mind. Normally, when we are peaceful and happy, we feel normal. So stress is not normal in any way. And third is, people think some stress is necessary in order to reach peak performance. If we want to progress in our life, if we want to work with responsibility, then we definitely experience stress. Without stress, this is not possible. So what do you think? Is it true? To get peak performance or to work with responsibility, there would be some stress. Without stress, not possible? Yes? It's not possible to avoid the always to. Sometimes. Sometimes it helps us in giving good performance, but it's not always. But actually this is an illusion, because when we are under stress, in initial stage, there is release of catecholamines, and that gives us the sense of increasing our performance. But after some time, there is release of steroids in our body, and because of these steroids, we feel exhausted, and that decreases our performance. And sometimes at the age of 35 or 40 years, a person reaches and they want to, whatever they want to get in their life, they get. They earn money, they get the good status, but when they go for health checkup, they find now they have started blood pressure, they have started diabetes, they have started heart problem. So first 40 years they earn, and next 40 years they spend for their health. So this is the result if you work under stress and want to achieve what you want in your life. And next illusion is other people's situation and events are responsible for causing you stress. A survey had been done on 400 people, and they were asked, who is the cause of your stress? So 90% of them pointed out towards others and situation. They are responsible for their stress. A mother-in-law, she was having high blood pressure, and she was asked, what is the cause of your high blood pressure? So she answered, my daughter-in-law, because she doesn't listen to me, she is the cause of my stress. When daughter-in-law was asked, she was having headache, she said, my mother-in-law, because she always interferes in my tasks, which I don't like, that's why I experience stress. At workplace, the management was asked, what is the cause of your stress? So management pointed out towards subordinates. They do not want to work, but they ask for facilities, more salaries, and if you do not provide them, then they make unions, they go for a strike, and this is the real headache for us. And when workers were asked, then they said management want to take work from us, but they do not provide us the enough salary. So this is the cause of our stress. So everyone is pointing toward the others. So if you point one finger toward the other person, then 3 fingers is pointing towards whom? Self. So if the other person is having one defect, then first 3 defects are within me. So who need to change first? Who need to change first? It's me who need to change first. But what we think, I am all right. And what I am doing is right. What I am thinking is right. I need not to change. The person with me is required to change. So boss tried to change his workers, mother-in-law tried to change his daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law wants to change his mother-in-law, and no one changes and our problem keep on increasing. Once there was a battleship in the sea. After a storm, captain told to seamen to go on the deck to find out whether we are in the right direction or not. So he went up on the deck and he saw that ship is in the right direction, but we have another ship in our direction. There is a flashing light. So he gave the message to captain, and captain told him, pass message, you change your course to 20 degree. So immediately the flashing message came, you are requested to change your course to 20 degree. This captain get annoyed. He said, he doesn't know who is speaking, tell my name. So and so captain is speaking, change your course to 20 degree. Message came, I am so and so second class seaman speaking. Again you are requested to change your course to 20 degree. And this captain was very furious. He said, tell him this is battleship. It will not change its course. You are supposed to change your course. Message came, I am lighthouse. How can I change my course? So when he came to know his lighthouse, he cannot change his course, then he changed his course. So what he tried his best to change the other one, but when he came to know he cannot change, then he changed himself. So the whole life we also do the same thing. We always try to change others, but neither they change nor we change, and our problems keep increasing. So change actually starts from the self. Here in Raj Yoga meditation, we teach self-change leads to world change. If we bring change in the self, then it inspires others to change. And if we do not change ourselves, then no one changes in the world. So change first starts from the self. You have to be working 14 hours a day, constantly meeting deadlines in order to experience stress. The work overload people feel is the cause of stress, but actually it's not the work. It's the worry associated with work is the cause of stress. So if you do not like your work, if you have to work because of force, someone is forcing you to work, within some time or within hours it causes you stress. But if you like your work, you love your work, you really enjoy doing it. Once there was a temple was being built, and one man wanted to know from the laborers what is being built. So he asked one laborer who was cutting the stone, what are you doing? He said, at present I am cutting the stone. Don't you see what I am doing? So he thought he is not in good mood. So he went to other laborer and asked the same question, who was doing the same job of cutting stones. So he said, a temple is being built and it's my fortune that I am doing service for God. And he found that he was very happy and enthusiastic. And the first one, he was very tired and very depressive look. So the same job both were doing, but the difference was of feelings towards their job. The first one, he was not having good feelings, that's why he was feeling tired. And the second one, because he had good feelings towards his job, that's why he was very happy and enthusiastic about that. And if you have, you still have a work overload, then we can always manage it. First take those tasks which are most urgent and most important, and then you can take the less urgent, less important ones, and you can always postpone the least important and less urgent ones. And if you still have problem, then you can have delegate your work to others to reduce your workload. And what we do to reduce our stress? What are the methods we adopt in our life to reduce our stress? Drink water. Good. Yes? Sometimes we see our face in the mirror, how much stressed we are. Huh? Interesting methods you use. Anyone else want to answer? Enjoy. Enjoy our entertainment methods. Huh? Enjoy whatever is happening in the life. It's a very good attitude. Yes? Talk to the people. Counting numbers. These are all methods to reduce anger actually. These are not the methods to reduce stress, to drink water or to count numbers, to postpone it. Huh? Positive attitude. Yes. So usually the common methods we use are entertainment methods. We go for outing, we go to picnics, we go to clubs, we go to cinema, or some people they smoke, they drink. Everyone has their own methods. Some listen to music, some do meditation, some go to gym and do exercise, and methods like you told also use. But these are all short-term methods because they just change the state of our mind for some time. And as soon as the problem is again in front of us, we again start experiencing it, because these are not the real remedies for stress. They are just postponing methods. No, they just postpone our stress for some time. So actually, to manage our stress, we need to know the real cause of our stress. The real cause of our stress lies in our thinking process. Whenever the situations come, or whenever the problems come, or whenever the adverse circumstances come in our life, usually we fall in negative thinking. And when we think negative, the same feelings arise. As we think, so we feel. As we say, as we think, so we become in our life. So as we think, so we feel. If you are thinking in a negative way, you think, oh, what has happened to me should not have happened. Now what will I do? This is a great loss. I am in failure. So when we think in this way, this is called negative thinking, then feelings are of panic, fear and worry. And the same is our behavior. Behavior becomes inappropriate, and this affects our performance. Our performance becomes poor, unproductive and non-achieving. But if in the same situation we think in a positive way, our thinking is in our control. If my hand is in our control, if I can raise my hand, I can take it in front, I can take it in the back, or wherever I want to move my limbs, I can move. Same way, I can give the direction of my thinking according to my choice. If I want to think in a positive way, it's my choice. I can always think in a positive way. And if I think in a negative way, so it's my responsibility that I am thinking in a negative way. So I can think in a positive way even in negative situations or even in adverse situations. So when I am thinking positive, when I am optimistic, then the feelings are of peace and patience in that situation, and the behavior is that I am comfortable and performance doesn't get affected by that. There was once a big bus accident, and in that accident many were died and few get injured. So out of those who get injured, two lost their right arm and they were admitted to the hospital. The people came to meet them. So when they met first person, he was crying in pain and he was blaming God. God, what you did to me? I am such an unfortunate one. I lost my right arm. Now how can I work? How will I sustain my family? So those who were listening to him, they also felt sorry about him because it's a very bad situation to him. And when they met the second person who also lost his right arm, he was very comfortable and peaceful, and he was thanking God actually. He was saying, God, You are so graceful to me. My life is saved. Although my right arm is not there, I can still work with my left arm. And after some days, I can get this right arm. I can replace it with artificial right arm, and I will also start working with it. But in front of my family, I am alive. This is a great fortune. So the same situation was with both of them, but their feelings were totally different because their thinking was different, and they were thinking in a different way. So the same thing happens in our life. Many of us, they pass through the same situation, but one is under stress, other is feeling happy in the same situation. There's no effect of that situation on him. The reason is the attitude toward life or thinking toward life is different. And the same, in the same way, the thinking affects our bodily symptoms also. Once there was an officer, he used to wear artificial tooth. And one day he found after meal that the tooth is missing. So he thought, where the tooth has gone? So he get the thought, I must have swallowed it. So as soon as he had this thought, I have swallowed my tooth, after some time he started getting pain in the stomach and started sweating, perspiring, ghabrahat, all these kind of symptoms. So he called his assistant and told him, look, I have swallowed my tooth. You call the doctor or inform the doctor, I am getting bad stomach ache. So doctor checked him, and actually in his checkup he didn't find that there is tooth in the stomach. So he said, I don't think the tooth is there in your stomach, but you get an X-ray so that we can confirm the tooth is not there. So when he was trying for X-ray, the phone from his house came. The wife was talking on the other side, and the assistant, he informed her, your husband had the situation that he's having this problem. He swallowed his tooth. She said, what nonsense you are talking? He left his tooth on the table in house, and the tooth is lying on the table. It's not in his stomach. So as soon as he came to know it's not in my stomach, it is in the house, the pain immediately disappeared. So what we think, it has very deep connection with our body also, and that's why we get psychosomatic diseases because of our negative thinking. And I told you in the definition of stress is equal to pressures upon coping ability. When pressures are more, we experience stress. So if we reduce our pressures, our stress will become less. But these pressures are not in our control. Certain things, they are not in our control. We cannot reduce pressures in our life. Situation can come anytime. They do not ask us to come, whether I should come or not. Anytime, any situation, any emergency can arise. So we have to face them. So we can always increase our coping ability towards them. If my coping ability, my facing power, my tolerance power, my willpower is more, my stress level is less. So here we adopt the method of increasing our willpower and tolerance power towards the situations, and that is possible through meditation. You are learning meditation since last 2 days, and in next 2 days also you will come to know more about it. So I will not go in much detail of meditation. But in Raj Yoga meditation we have 2 steps, and how it helps us in reducing our stress. The first step is self-realization, self-analysis and self-observation. We stabilize ourselves in the qualities of soul, which are the positive qualities. So when we see our positive side, we come to know our weaknesses also. I come to know where my problem is, and I can take steps to solve that problem. So this self-realization reduces my stress. So I need to change, where I need to change myself. And the second step of Raja Yoga meditation is, I am connecting myself to Almighty or Supreme Being, and by that connection, I get the flow of powers within me, which increases my willpower, which increases my confidence, which increases my tolerance and facing capability, and I feel situation smaller than me. Now, when I see that situation from the higher level, how it looks? It looks smaller. So when it looks smaller, I do not feel stress. I feel that I can always become victorious over this. So in this way, the stress reduces, and we find that all the spiritual people in the world, the great people in the world, they had this power, and by this spiritual power, they always find difficult situations very small and they easily cross them. There's one incident of the life of Mahatma Sukrat. His wife was of very aggressive nature. So once he was taking meeting with his disciples and he was discussing with them, but because she was waiting for him for his meal, he took very long time. She could not keep the patience because she was of aggressive nature. She started telling abusive words for him. So he didn't give his ears to his words, and he continued his job. After some time, anger is called as temporary insanity. The person is not able to understand what I am saying, whether I should speak these words or not. It was the same condition with her, and she was not able to understand what she should do and what she should not do. So she had some vessel filled with water in the kitchen. She took up that vessel and bring it to Sukrat and poured all the water on him. So he started laughing. He said, "Up till now I heard the clouds who make noise do not rain. But today what I saw, the one who shouts also rains." So the situation which was insulting, which was creating this insult to him, he changed it into a humorous one. And her wife, his wife, she felt ashamed of his act, and later she started changing herself. So this forgiveness, this great attitude inspired her to change in his life. So this ability we find in the spiritual people. A normal person cannot behave in this way. Now what we do tit for tat. If someone says one word to me, I give double answer. And if someone is saying 2 words to me, I multiply it to 4, and 4 to 8, and 8 to 16. This is our behavior, usually normal behavior. But when we have spiritual power within us, then our behavior and attitude changes, and even in the adverse circumstances, we can behave from the higher level. And third change which meditation brings in us is, it changes our physiology of the body. Like stress changes the physiology, in stress we release harmful chemicals. We release catecholamines and steroids. But when we do meditation, in 25 different scientific studies it is found. Even in the Global Hospital and Research Center, we have a hospital over here, and we do this research study on, especially on heart patients. So it was found that our body releases endorphins and enkephalins, serotonins, which are beneficial chemicals for our body. And these chemicals, they reduce our heart rate, they reduce our blood pressure, they reduce our respiratory rate, and our system, they start working in a balance, and we feel physically healthy. So not only we get the peace of mind, not only we get the relaxation out of meditation, but we get double benefit. It improves our physical health also. That's why nowadays meditation is connected to our physical health. So many teachers, gurus and saints, they are teaching pranayam, dhyan and different types of asanas. And they say, if you do meditation daily, it will improve your physical health also. It reduces your blood pressure, it reverses your heart problems, and it reverses your diabetes. So these kind of psychosomatic diseases can be treated by doing meditation daily. And the second method we can adopt to reduce the pressure of our situations, we can change our attitudes towards them. Whenever we face a situation, there is always two sides of coin. When there is loss, there is always some gain in it. And if you lost something, you are also gaining. But we see the loss. Our attitude or our thinking is always that I have lost something, I am in failure. But in future, it may be some hidden benefit which you do not see in the present. It is said in Gita, whatever has happened was for good, whatever is happening is for good, and whatever will happen will also be very good. In Hindi it is said, जो हुआ था वो अच्छा था, जो हो रहा है वो अच्छा है, और जो होगा वो भी अच्छा ही होगा. So there is one very good story comes in our scriptures regarding this. There was once a king who had very wise minister with him. So he always used to take his counseling whenever he performs his task. So once his finger was cut and he showed to his minister, my finger is cut. The minister was a spiritual person and he said, Maharaj, whatever has happened for good. So this king, when heard these words, he thought, my minister saying me this, whatever has happened for good, my finger is cut and seeing it's good. So he is now not a faithful minister, and he ordered his soldiers to put him in the jail. So he was put in the jail, and actually he was very fond of hunting. One day he went for hunting and chasing the victim, he went very deep into the jungle. So once he was very deep inside, there were tribal people who were searching some human being to sacrifice over the goddess. So the king was caught by them. King told them, I am your king, will you sacrifice me on the goddess? So they said, king is the best person out of subjects. So when the goddess gets such a sacrifice, she will be very happy. So we are not going to leave you. So they took the king to their priest, and the priest checks whether the sacrifice is complete or not. So he found that his finger is cut. So priest said, leave him, because the goddess will not accept such incomplete sacrifice. The goddess will get annoyed, leave him. So he was left by those tribal people, and when he was returning to his kingdom, he remembered the words of minister, whatever has happened for good. So he thought, really my finger was cut, that's why my life is saved. Otherwise, I would have been sacrificed on the deity. So when he reached to his kingdom, he immediately called his minister to him and asked him, okay, I came to know now, whatever has happened was happened for good. It saved my life. But I put you in the jail. Mantriji, it was not good for you. It was really bad for you. He said, no Maharaj, it was also good for me, because if I would not have been in the jail, I would have accompanied you, because I always accompany you when you go outside. So if I would have been with you, what would have happened to me? In place of you, because I am a complete man, I would have been sacrificed. So we both are saved. The situation superficially was bad for both of them, but in future there was a hidden benefit. So sometimes this is the reality of life, that we see that this is a very adverse situation, I am in loss, I am in failure, but there is a real future benefit in it, and if we realize that, there is less stress and we easily cross that situation. And if we take situations as a challenge in our life, that challenge also increases our inner strength and our inner virtues and qualities. Once there were two brothers living in Bombay, but their condition was different. One was very rich and the other one was very poor. So the one who was rich has all the facilities in his life. His children were studying in very good schools. But the poor one was living in a very ordinary house, and his children, they were reading, they were studying in government schools. And he had 3 children. And they used to think about it. They compared their condition with their uncle's children. So the elder child used to blame his parents. If they are not able to sustain us, why they gave us the birth? So in that way he always points them. The second one, he started getting inferiority complex in his life. My clothes are not good, I am not studying in a good school. So he started getting these kind of complexes. And the youngest one, he thought, my father is poor, can't I help him? I should help him. So at that age he could realize that I should study well, and by studying I must get some good position in the society so that I can earn well and help my father. So he concentrated fully on his studies, and his effort brought results to him. He became a doctor, he became very good surgeon, and for his work in one conference he was awarded, and he was asked his experience of life. He said, wherever I am today, it's because we were poor. And the day I came to realize we are poor and I need to do something, I was a very ordinary student, and my mind was not in the studies. But after this realization, I put my all efforts in the studies, and I am here at this place. So an ordinary student, because of taking the situation as a challenge, he became something great in his life. So all 3 children were facing the same problem, but the thinking of all the 3 was different towards the situation, and that's why the response was also different. And whatever is our life, whether it is a family life or our workplace life or is our personal life, we have 4 things to respond: roles, routines, relationships, and responsibilities. We always play some role in our life. No, whatever the task we do, it influences us. If you are an officer, you have to get done work from others. You remain official for that. For hours, you are in the same role. And when you come back at home, your role changes. Now you are not officer. You are husband, you are a father, or you are a child to your parent, and they need your love, care and concern. But if you are not able to detach yourself from your previous role, then you are not able to play that role with your family. And that creates conflicts in relationships. So many people, they are not able to detach themselves from their previous roles. They are not able to play the role they have to play at different places. And this causes stress in their life, and they take the tension of workplace to the home and tension of the home to their workplace. So they are neither relaxed at home nor relaxed at their workplace. Once there was Ram Leela. Ram Leela means the story of Rama was being played on the stage, which is called Ram Leela. So one day the manager saw there's lot of public and I should start the Ram Leela. He was waiting for the one who was playing the role of Hanuman. No, he was not reached by the time. So he called one of his workers and told him, you wear the dress of Hanuman, come on the stage. The first scene is very simple. No, there will be the court of Raman, and the Raman will ask you, who are you? So you just answer, I am Sri Ram's devotee Hanuman. So just give this answer and then we will take over. So he said, okay, it's very simple. So he put on the dress of Hanuman, he came up on the stage, he saw the public and then he saw the Ravan. Immediately Ravan spoke very loudly, you know how the Ravan speaks, speaks very loudly. So he asked him, who are you? So he he get depressed and he said, I am Ramchandra, bicycle wala. So this is what happened when we are under tension. We are not able to play our roles well. How we should play, we are not able to play that. And to reduce our stress, we need to manage our routines also. Our routines should be well organized. Whole day people work and when they come back at home in the evening, they want to relax. And to relax, what do they do? What do you do when you come back at home in the evening? TV. Most of the people, because I am hearing the noises from this side and this side, you sit in front of the TV. So when you sit in front of the television, what you see, what you hear, is not always reduces your stress. Sometimes it can even increase your stress. And those who sit in front of the TV, they sit up to late nights. And when you sleep late in the night, definitely you will get up late in the morning. It is said, early to bed, early to rise, make a person healthy, wealthy and wise. And when it is late to bed, late to rise, what happens? The routine starts with hurry, worry and curry. And when you are under hurry, what you do? You get angry, whosoever comes in front of you, and day starts with tension. And when people start working, they see there's lot of work, they take many works together and they are not able to complete even a single task. And some people are lazy, they don't want to work, they just pass their time. Either they drink tea, coffee, they smoke, or they gossip here and there, and when the time comes, the task is not completed. There was once a hawker, he used to sell the fruits on the roadside. So one customer came to him, want to buy the fruits. He saw that he is drowsy. So he asked him whether you are doing business or you are sleeping. He said, what's there? What's your business to ask me what I am doing? He said, okay, if you do good business, you will earn more. So then what will happen? He said, in place of putting your this cart over here, you will have a very good shop. So he said, then what will happen? Okay, if you will have good shop, then you will earn more and you can make a good house for you. He said, then what happens? So he said, if you will have good house, then you will be able to sleep well, without worry. So he said, that I am doing already. So to be stress-free doesn't mean we become lazy and whatever comes in front of me, I do it and I am stress-free. Now we should be accurate, active, alert and responsible in our life, and that is only possible when our routines are well managed. We sleep in time, we get up in time, we work while work, we eat when it's the time to eat. So everything should be well organized. And relationships are also very important in our life. If our relationships are harmonious, if relationships are sweet, then they reduce our stress. Because we share in our relationships. We share our problems, and when we share our sorrows, they decrease to half. And if we share our happinesses, they get doubled. It is found, especially in foreign countries, people keep pets in their home. Either they keep dog or cat or any other animal which they like. And it is found if they talk to their pets, they get very less heart problems. Then it was tried to find why it is so. So they were asked, why don't you talk to your relatives, your wives, your children, or your friends? Why you always talk to your pets? So they said these pets, they listen very silently. They don't react. And if you talk to our family members, then what happens? They react and we have to listen to them also, and we don't want to listen to them. We just want to share what we have in our mind. So this is true. If we share our burdens, then it reduces our stress. So here you are learning meditation and you are learning how to communicate with God, how to talk to God. He is very silent and faithful listener. Whatever you want to talk, you can always talk to God, and it will definitely reduce your stress. So we can use God as our very good friend. But if few problems, few negative feelings and negative emotions come in our relations, like jealousy, hatred, anger, criticism, comparison, ego problems, if these type of things come in our relationships, they definitely increase our stress. So whenever we expect more, usually from your close relatives, like a husband expect more from his wife and children. If children are not obedient, it's really it's very stressful for the parents. So because we feel right over them, we think they belong to me, they should obey me, they should do this for me, and if they are not doing, I am under stress, I am angry. So actually in relationships we should carry out our responsibilities in a unconditional way. If we bring out our duties in an unconditional way, then whether they give us the return of that or not, it will not affect us. That's what Gita says. Nishkam bhav se karma karna chahiye. If we perform our duties in this way, in a selfless way, then we don't experience stress in relations. And when jealousy comes, jealousy is usually with the people. You feel that they are progressing in life, they are wealthy, but you are not up to that level. And the jealousy is an emotion which actually doesn't harm the other person. It harms you only. There's a saying, fire burns a dead body, but jealousy burns a living being. There are three kind of people in the world. One people, they feel sorrow in the sorrows of others. They are kind people. They cannot tolerate the sufferings of others. Second type of people are, they feel sorrow when they see, they feel happy actually when they feel sufferings of others. And third type of people are, they feel sorrow when they see other peoples are happy. So these third type of people are jealous kind of people, and you check yourself, if I have this personality, so we should change it. In place of jealousy, we should have good wishes for others, and that good wishes, they have a positive effect on our health. And when we get angry, that is also a negative emotion, and it's very common negative emotion. Everyone experiences stress. In the same way, everyone experiences anger also. No one can say, I do not get angry. I think yesterday Dadiji also talking about anger. So who raised the hand? They do not get angry. Only one or two, they raise their hands, they do not get angry. So either less or more. It may, the percentage may vary. But we all, one or other time in situations, feel angry. So we need to control our anger in our relationships. When we are angry, we speak very harsh words. It hurts others. That's why it is said the wound caused by sword can be healed. but the wound caused by words cannot be healed. The person remember your words, what you said to him, but when you said those words, when you were angry. Normally we do not say such bad words to other people. Normally our behavior is very normal and sweet. But when we are angry, we ourselves do not know what I am speaking. So to control our anger, we can use few methods. So one method, one person sharing from here, now we drink water or we count count the numbers. So the meaning is to postpone your anger for some time. When you are angry, just postpone it for a few minutes. If you can postpone it for 1 hour, that's well and good. You think that I will say these same words, but I will speak after 1 hour. So what would be the benefit in postponing anger? The benefit is that by that time you come to know it's not the other's mistake, it's my mistake and I need not to say anything. But if you find that there's mistake by the other person and you have to tell him, you have to caution him that in future he should not commit the same mistake, then you will say the same thing but in a polite manner, in a peaceful manner or in good words. So when you say in good words, the person accepts you. But if you say in anger, then the same reaction comes from that person. This anger is like an infectious disease. Infectious disease means it spreads immediately. So if you speak in an angry way, the response also comes in the same way and there is always problem, no solution. But when we speak in a peaceful way, in good words, the same thing you are saying, but that is accepted. Once a meeting was called by a general manager and he said his assistant, you keep jug of water and a glass for me. During meeting he drank lot of water and meeting was very successful. When he came out, the assistant thanked him, sir, meeting was very successful but you were drinking lot of water. What is the reason? Are you doing naturopathy or water therapy? He said, no. Today I did anger therapy. When I got angry, when someone said something which made me angry, I drank glass of water. And during drinking that water, few minutes passed, and when I spoke after that, I spoke peacefully and I got answers also in a peaceful way, and the meeting was very successful. But when we get angry, may not be we get a glass of water with me, with us. So if you can postpone your anger using any method, like you learned Om Shanti here. So if you say Om Shanti 10 times, 20 times, being in that stage, definitely your aggressiveness will come down, your temper will come down. You speak same words, but you will speak in a peaceful manner. And in meditation, it is found, we have experience of thousands of people, and after doing this meditation, they experience reduction in anger, their life is more peaceful, their personality is changed because we practice our original nature. We practice, I am a peaceful soul, peace is my original nature, I am the resident of land of peace, my father is ocean of peace. So when we give these words to our mind, as we think, so we become. So gradually the peace becomes our behavior and anger goes down. And third method, whatever the cause you find is causing anger to you, find the solution for that. Now the most common cause for anger is, can any one of you answer? The most common cause of anger is when someone doesn't act according to my wish. When someone is not behaving as I want, we get angry. The most common cause is this. If someone is not fulfilling your desire, so that in that situation, what you can think in a positive way, that every person in this world is different. Everyone has his own kind of thoughts and personality. Now, if I do not act according to their desire, so why they will act according always to my desire? So I should compensate, or I should compromise in that way. Sometimes they will act according to my desire, and sometimes I should act according to their desire. So I should not always expect that everyone will act as I wish, because this world is a variety drama and everyone has his own role to play, and it's not possible that they will always behave according to me. And sometimes we try to control others. That's why we get angry. At workplace, if you are an officer and you feel that workers will not work till you get angry, or mothers in house, they think if I do not show my anger to children, they will not study. Without anger, it's impossible to control the children. So do you think this is the right attitude? What's the result of that anger? So usually when we get angry, you are just making them silent for some time. Because of fear, they will not speak in front of you. But it doesn't changes their behavior. Their personality doesn't changes. After some time, they will become the same. But if you explain to them in a loveful way why they should do like this, if you are friendly to them, if you give them time, they definitely realize it and try to change themselves. Even in at the workplace, if you behave with your subordinates in a loveful way, in a peaceful way, they will always respect you. Otherwise, it gives them revengeful feelings towards you, and any time they can create problem. Hatred and revengeful feelings, they just they look for opportunities, how they can create problem for you. So anger is not the solution for any problem. And sometimes because we get criticized by others, they find out weaknesses in ourselves, so we feel aggressive toward them. Here again we use positive thinking. The one who is criticizing me is not my enemy, is my friend. So how can the person who is criticizing me is my friend? How can a person who is criticizing me is my friend? Yes? He is telling me my weaknesses. It's a human nature. We are not able to see our weaknesses on our own. The other people, they tell us, this is your weakness. So if I accept it, analyze it, try to change it, it leads to progress in my life. Sometimes the critic, he magnifies our weakness. He magnifies 5 times, 10 times, even 50 times. But even 1% of that I have in me. So if you realize there is some carelessness in me, or any type of weakness which is pointed out, if I change it, that will really lead to development in my personality. Nowadays people go to the psychologist to know the defects of their personality, and for that the psychologists charge good fees from them. But your critic, without taking fees, telling you this is your weakness, change it. And if we really change that, then we progress in our life. But if you find, no, this is not my weakness, it's because of jealousy or to pull my leg down, people are criticizing me or pointing me out, then don't accept it. Don't take it within. And if you don't accept it, it cannot hurt you. Mahatma Gandhi said very good thing, no one can hurt you without your permission. No, because we accept those words, that's why we feel hurted and we get stressed and we feel angry toward that person. So there's one example of Mahatma Buddha. Once he went to one place to give his preachings. After finishing his preachings, a person came in front of me, in front of him, who was his like enemy. So he started saying abusive words to him. He continued to spoke till he felt tired, and when he stopped, he tried to see his reaction, Mahatma Buddha's reaction, and he found that he was very peaceful. There was no reaction at all. So he went near to him, asked him, "Don't you listen what I said to you?" He said, "Dear brother, if you give something to someone, and if that person doesn't accept, where it will remain?" So he understood that what the meaning is. Whatever I told him, he didn't accept it, and that's why there is no reaction on his face. So if that weakness is not within me, why should I accept it? So I should not accept those words which are told for me, and in this way we can reduce anger and stress which is caused by criticism. And sometimes if people point out our mistakes, because of ego we do not accept it. If we say sorry, things go away. There is a solution. And if we don't say sorry, then small things take the bigger form, complicated form, and it really causes stress in our life. So when you find this, that really I have committed the mistake, then accept it, be humble, and try to change it. And if you find that in your relatives, in your relations, someone is committing mistake, then have the attitude of forgive and forget. To forgive is human, and to forget is divine. And this is very high quality, and it's not very easy to forgive other people, but it is beneficial for the self. When I forgive the other person, my heart becomes pure. I get good feelings toward that person, and this is good for my health also, because this reduces my stress. So it's very good to forgive the people who commit mistakes, and because this is life and everyone commit mistakes, I also commit mistake, and if other has committed mistake, then what is there? So don't keep the mistakes of other in your mind. Always forgive them. This is the good method to reduce the stress. And sometimes we have to suppress our anger. Now we are not able to show it, or we are not able to express it, because the person in front of us can affect our future. Like you are in front of your boss, and the boss is getting angry on you. You are also feeling angry, but you cannot speak in front of the boss, because if you speak, then it will destroy your future. So you have to take it in. And when you suppress your anger, it also has the bad effects on our health. It can cause psychotic and neurotic problems if we continue with the same type of things again and again. So in that case, what should we do to express our anger? If you have suppressed your anger, then on the same day you write down your feelings on the paper. Whatever you are feeling towards that person, write it down, and then you can throw it off. And that doesn't matter. But once you have expressed this, your mind is empty of that negative emotions. And second method you can use, do some physical work. Either you go for a walk for half an hour. It should be brisk walk, or if you play, then play games like badminton, tennis, football, or if you exercise, then exercise. So this releases endorphins and enkephalins in our body, and it neutralizes the toxins which are created because of suppressed anger. Eat fruits every day, because fruits and vegetables, they have a lot of antioxidants which again neutralize the toxins released due to anger in our body. And someone out of you suggested that when you are angry, see your face in mirror, and when you see how bad you look when you are angry, your anger immediately will come down. So see your face in the mirror when you are angry. So when you see your emotions, you will definitely won't feel like to get angry in the future. And one method is to press your chin. This is an acupressure point. When you press your chin, your jaw is relaxed and you cannot speak aggressively that time when you are pressing your chin. So you you take deep breath, 10 or 20 deep breath, and this deep breath also relaxes you and it brings your tempo down. So by using these methods, especially positive thinking, practicing meditation, changing attitudes towards life, and using some tips, we can reduce our stress and anger of life. And my good wishes to you to lead a healthy and happy, stress-free life. Om Shanti. I end it over here. We sit in meditation. If you have any questions, those who have question will remain seated here. So we will take it after meditation. So those who want to ask questions, they will remain seated, and rest of you can go for lunch.
अच्छा ही होगा, फिक्र क्यों करे। हर बात में सबका कल्याण है, हर बात में सबका कल्याण है। खुशी का मरम ये सुनाते रहो, सदा खुश रहो, मुस्कुरा रहो। चलो कुछ कहा किसने क्या हो गया, खुशी खो गई मानो सब खो गया।
चलो कुछ कहा किसने क्या हो गया, खुशी खो गई मानो सब खो गया।
खुशी जैसी कोई दवा ही नहीं, खुशी जैसी कोई दवा ही नहीं, ये अमृत है सबको पिलाते रहो, गाते रहो, गुनगुनाते रहो, मिलन प्यारे प्रभु से मनाते रहो, सदा खुश रहो। यादों में प्रभु के है सच्ची खुशी, ये सेवा बड़ी है दुआओं भरी, ये मुस्कान वरदान भगवान का, ये मुस्कान वरदान भगवान का। नाचो खुशी में नचाते रहो, सदा खुश रहो, मुस्कुराते रहो, खजाना खुशी का